Hello and welcome to Peeves and Cues, episode 1. I'm your host, Alex, and with me is...
Connor.
Jordan.
Jody. Why'd you make us introduce ourselves? That was quite rude.
Whatever.
Do you just go to a party and you're like...
Hi.
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 This is everyone. No.
Hi, introduce yourself. You
guys over there.
Yeah.
This is
Get along.
a
No.
friend of mine, and that is all you need to know.
Right.
This is a podcast where we ask each other questions and talk about what's annoying us this week. It's called Peeves and Cues because P's and Q's is a thing, and peeves, and I don't need to explain it.
No. Makes sense.
Yep. And so we are going to get started with our first segment. How are you guys? How's it going?
Good. How was everyone's week?
Well, shit, man. I work at McDonald's. Every day's a good day.
Oh, great.
I'm living the dream.
Yeah. Well.
He's loving it.
Dang it! I'm literally
Me too.
taking your drink. And
Well,
I'm just gonna...
that's what alcohol does.
All right. Well, edit it in so that I say that, not Jody. All right.
You know when like a shoe is in the air
Yeah.
and you're waiting for the other shoe to drop?
other shoe to drop.
The other shoe is dropping.
The other shoe is
The other shoe is
dropping.
dropping.
That can be the name of the show.
The other shoe is dropping.
The other shoe is dropping.
It better be the left one.
TOSID. Sid?
What? Why?
What?
Why did it have to go there?
Because I needed to.
Why did it have
quantify
to go that far?
This is
Anyway.
going terribly.
This is horrible. Just
Yeah.
keep going.
Just keep going. So let's just move on to the first question segment. I have a question for you guys. Music is great. I love music, and so my first question had to be about music. What is your favorite album of music? I'll go first. Mine has to be Green Day's American Idiot. It is just perfect all around, and it's probably the only album that I've ever heard where every single track I love listening to. Most albums there's something that I skip about it.
Well, we've clearly established that Alex is in his early 20s.
Yes.
In case you were wondering.
This is
but...
factually accurate information.
So my favorite album, strangely enough, is Green Day's 21st Century Breakdown.
Oh my gosh, the album is trash.
You son of a
Anyway.
bitch. No, and let me tell you why it's not trash.
Please
only sort
tell
of
me.
trash.
Yeah. Please tell me why it's not trash.
So one of the reasons why I love it, I've been a fan of Green Day. I mean, pretty much since American Idiot came out. That was kind of what introduced me to it. Is that first single, American Idiot, everything. And after that album came out, I was like, oh man, I can't get enough of this. I think I said this earlier, like in the week. I said this to Jordan that we were listening to that album in the car, American Idiot. That this band sort of liberated my taste in music.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly
Right?
what you're talking about. Yep.
So like I couldn't get enough of Green Day. Like I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get their best of album.
Yep.
And I loved it.
International Superhits.
International Superhits.
Loved it. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't buy into the other albums after that. Cause, I mean, I had the best of, so like for me, it was like okay. And then 21st Century Breakdown came out, and I thought it can't be as good when it comes out.
Don't worry, it's not.
I'm just gonna be disappointed. And then it came out, and much like how every track
Oh right. Yeah.
on American Idiot is, I can listen to 21st Century Breakdown on loop.
Yeah.
Because of the narrative that's told. And for me, it's each song is distinct. And of course, that's the aim of any album.
Sure.
I would hope to have
Yeah.
distinct tracks that still have cohesion. But musically, the band has never been musically sound like they make great riffs and they have great rhythms, they have good melodies or good lyrics. But this, more so, I think, than American Idiot, was the first musically sound, like compositionally, really very beautiful tracks. And I don't know. I mean, I can't really say to you like this is why this thing isn't trash. I mean, it's
right.
It's completely.
It's all taste.
Yeah, it's completely subjective.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think for like the thing for me, the definitive thing, is how well they integrated their style with their new tone with a narrative that's not shoved down your throat.
Yeah, I guess that's what I didn't like was the new tone.
Okay.
I love classic
Okay.
Green Day.
Yeah. If I may,
Yeah.
the biggest problem that I think I had, the thing that I think it suffered from most was being too long, and there were several songs in there that I feel like I just don't need to listen to. I'm not going to point any out specifically, because of taste, but like there's just several songs in there where I'm like, if they cut these songs and just had like this part of the album, like this group of songs, it'd be a really strong album. I think it just suffered from going too long and having too much in it.
And going a little bit off of that, and this will be my final thought on it. It's I honestly think that the order of the songs changes quite a lot of how it's because I just graduated high school and I was thinking about, and this is so nerdy.
Yes, it is. No.
That's how we do things.
This is so nerdy, but like I didn't want to add any new songs, and I didn't want to do. And this is, by the way, before I heard about the musical that was being done. This is before I heard about American Idiot. I was very disappointed when I heard about it. I wanted to make this album. I was like, this is a musical.
Right.
This needs to be produced.
I remember you talking to me about
right.
that.
And I put the tracks in a different order. And maybe, like, if we have a description thing, like, I can give you that. So if listeners want to, like, I don't know, like, go through that.
Yeah.
To me, it changes.
There'll be a link in the description.
Right. It changes how it changes entirely, like, the tone of, because to me, I think it's more narrative centric that way. Anyway, that's my final thought. Yeah, Green Day, 21st Century Breakdown, favorite album.
Awesome, Jordan.
So I'm not going to go with Green Day because I'm not white. The joke is, since we're not a visual, I am very white.
If you couldn't tell,
I think they could tell.
For listeners knowing.
But no, so the album
is actually Jamaican. Is the
You can still be white and be Jamaican.
No, you can only be one thing. Go on.
So for my favorite album, there's a lot of different things I could have chosen because, you can change it. I decided to go with something that not only continually strikes a chord with me, but something that as a song...
Sorry.
Sing. Something that I as a songwriter can really look up to, because I write lyrics.
Oh, right.
I take... who can I look up to and say, that's great, that's what I want to do?
Yeah.
And even though I don't write rap, it's actually a rap album that I found. It's called The Audacity by Spose.
Wow.
Spose is a C-list rapper. I would love to say he's a fantastic rapper because he is, but he never caught too much national attention. What I really love about it is he has very clever lyrics. He writes like someone who has an education. Also, there's a lot of depth to his content. Specifically, some of my favorite songs are a song called My Love and You, which is all about this relationship he has with this woman, but it's an adult relationship. The entire song is, hey, I like you because you're cool and you're not dumb. Like, you're not pretty and dumb. You're fun to talk to.
Wow.
Swagless, which is literally a satire or a commentary on the rap community's general attitude of, throwing money around, booze and bitches, yeah. And it's just like, no...
Yeah.
Tell me something. Give me something.
Right.
And then, of course, my favorite song from the album is called Blow My Candle Out, which is an existential crisis. It's a narrative song about a man who dies and goes and is confronted by the angel on his shoulder and then the devil on his other shoulder.
Oh, wow.
And it's just this really great... He's a fantastic writer. And I think everyone who's listening that doesn't know him should look him up because he's really good.
Right. I've been trying to expand my rap interest because I just don't...
Really?
I don't like... I've never listened to rap historically.
Who are you listening to?
I've listened to Jay-Z's Black album.
Oh.
It's got some really
With
interesting...
featuring
Justin
Justin
Timberlake.
Timberlake.
That's like an awkward place to start,
well,
too.
Hey.
It was just...
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, the reason is because I heard about the Grey album, which is like a mashup between the Black album and the Beatles'
And the 50 Shades
White album.
Right.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
I'm ashamed. And I'm very familiar with the White album by the Beatles because I love the Beatles. And the Grey album is, this thing that I love meets this thing that I didn't know about. So I listen to that. And then I also, actually that's pretty much it so far. But yeah, I'm trying to expand my musical horizons in that way. So I'll definitely check that out.
Well, and for anyone who's interested or is thinking about it, a rap artist that's a bit more known that he's often grouped with is Watsky, which is also another rapper who's just very clever.
Sure.
So if you're interested in him, check him out.
I'll do that. I have the recording, so
Yeah.
definitely.
Can't say you forgot.
Right.
My turn.
Yeah.
All right. I don't usually like music at all,
Mm-hmm.
unless I'm personally singing to it or dancing to it. That's just how I roll. But, and Connor already spoiled this for the audience, but I picked for my favorite album to be International Superhits.
Wow. That is 3 Green
so
Day.
not in our 20s.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not at all. Not in our early 20s at all.
We need some diversity.
I mean, I started with American Idiot when it came to Green Day because Bullet in a Bible had just come out when I was in 8th grade, and I
Wow.
was obsessed with it.
That is a great time for that.
And
God.
it just pairs so well with the 8th grade angst that you're going
You were
through.
in 8th grade when that
We
came
were
out,
in
right?
8th grade. I can't believe it. But,
Oh my God.
I was in 6th grade.
yeah, you were in
Oh my
6th.
God.
What were you doing? Discovering your...
Body.
I don't even know. You didn't
Hey,
even have a
moving
body
on.
then.
No, I was a child.
Anyway, Connor and I can completely relate to this.
Anyway,
Just
keep
being
going.
so angsty and so angry, and you know, I loved American Idiot as much as everyone else. But then I just realized I was like, why stop there? Go to International Superhits, where it just completely has all of their encompassing anger, literally, or just fun.
Yeah.
Fun and anger
Yeah.
rolled into one, and that's what I like to describe myself as, is angry and fun.
I just want to say that Nimrod has a bunch of songs that aren't on International Superhits that I could listen to.
Oh yeah,
all day,
I
all
mean,
night.
yeah, I like every Green Day album except 21st Century Breakdown. But
Well, you haven't listened to the new 3. Like the trilogy that they just put out? You have not listened to it.
I'm not
You
wasting my
don't-
time.
Yeah, you don't need to.
I mean,
I'm not going to say they're bad. I'm just going to say you don't need to
There's
listen
like
to it.
there's like a song on each, so there's like 3 songs that I own
I have a-
that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I have a handful.
Yeah.
I have a
Ha-
handful. There are a
Yeah.
few.
half of why I stopped listening to it is because, goddamn, Billy Joel Armstrong is really ugly now, and
Oh,
it
wow.
affects it.
wait, now?
I mean, yes, he was ugly back then,
But
but
he
at least
was-
in 8th grade, you're like, actually,
Yeah.
Mike Dirnt's my favorite, but
Oh my god, he wears a red tie with short sleeve button up.
Hey, that's cool.
believe it or not, I actually, on impersonation day of Spirit Week, that's who I dressed up as.
I copied his style for my first ever theater audition.
I bet you
Not
did.
kidding.
Wow.
Glad to know Green Day
I
made such
went
an
to
impact in
so
this
many
room.
parties in 8th grade
Ah!
and in freshman year.
And wore ties.
No, I wore black pants, black dress shirt, red tie, rolled up my
Eyeliner?
sleeves. Yes,
Oh my
eyeliner
gosh!
too.
Did you dye your hair?
No,
Okay, well.
Alex, I'm a blonde. How
Yeah.
well do you think that would have
You
gone?
should've just
Don't
gone as
care.
Mike Dirnt.
It's A for effort, not.
Oh my gosh, we
extra
could
effort.
completely do that. I mean, you have brown hair, Billy Joe, Mike Dirnt, Trey Cool, and I'll just be the roadie.
Yeah, no, there was like a 4th member. who
Oh,
was the roadie.
Jason Frost?
Yeah, I think so.
He's their guitarist, I think.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
rhythm.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Anyway.
Awesome. Nice work, you guys. That's a lot of Green Day in a very short amount of
Wow.
time.
Sorry, listeners. We are definitely white in our
Yes.
20s
White
suburbanites.
If you could not
Yep.
tell.
Wow.
And we
Well,
are going to...
Every single poster on my wall, and Alex met me when my room looked like this,
Yep.
was a Green Day poster.
Yep. It's pretty great.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's why he stayed with
Yeah. Oh, Jody and I are dating, if that wasn't known.
Dating is the
Dating.
term. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I wouldn't say dating.
So
Moving on. Would you like to ask your question?
Sure, yeah, I'd like to. So guys, in your opinion, what is the worst contemporary video game, and why? And when I say contemporary, like let's say like last decade.
Sure.
So for me, there are so many I could pick. Some that enraged me more than my final pick. But I think this one is just an example of everything that could possibly go wrong on a video game, and it still be priced at $60 at release.
I might know, but just,
Ride to Hell Retribution.
nope, I was wrong.
This is a game by the developer Utachix. I butchered that. I completely butchered that
Sure.
name. It's just a series of consonants and
Yeah.
no vowels.
Yeah. I'd like to buy a vowel.
Yeah, right. This game is about a guy who has been resurrected because he's destined to form a biker gang. And burn towns and people just gunning people down. This game rewards you after raids. No, by having fully clothed sex scenes from a character whose husband you murdered.
Oh.
So
basically, you can't be a female playing this game.
Oh, I mean, not if you have any self-respect. No, sure, absolutely not.
Gotcha.
So other than like the raw story elements that I'm completely like, okay,
Yeah, like,
okay, game, like,
whoa.
you took it, I think there is room for artistic, like, whatever, and escapism,
Yeah.
and like, okay, but I mean, no.
Right.
However, the graphics, there's a lot of clipping in the graphics. It is not. The game is not fully animated.
Oh.
It is not fully rendered.
It's not finished.
There are sections of this game where if you're going down certain roads, every single time, no matter what mission you're doing, you will start driving on Oblivion.
Great.
Like in the town, like you can turn around. And it's like right there.
Wow.
So like you're in this white Oblivion.
Sounds like a Sonic problem.
Also,
Or a Glover.
The script wasn't finished at release, so. Which means the voice actors, or when the script wasn't finished when they got voice actors together. So other than the dialogue being completely terrible and the voice acting being completely terrible, it is a combination of voice acting and text. Walls of text that you have to scroll.
No.
And this is a console.
This is a problem.
This is a console game.
No.
Too.
Yes, what did this come out on? Like PS3, what did this come out on?
This was a multi-platform, so...
Okay, so it can be on everything.
So it was 360, PS3.
Okay.
Actually, I think there was actually a PC release at some point. This was supposed to be the first game of a trilogy.
Oh, great.
The other two were,
thank God.
The other two
Yeah.
were scrapped almost immediately. Also, my final thought on this game, the controls were broken.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't brake.
So you just hit
You
things
couldn't
to
brake.
stop?
You're on a bike?
And
This
so, like,
is a
you
biking game?
You're thinking maybe this is a mechanic, like maybe you're just supposed to like run into stuff.
Sure.
But you can't run into stuff because it like the physics are in place that if you hit a wall, you're gonna like blow up or you die.
Right.
So it's not like, oh well, so you just have to like
Jump off.
or like just time it. So you just come to a stop. The steering will sometimes like go out.
Yeah.
I rented this game when it came out because I wanted to know how bad it is. That bad. It
Wow,
is truly that
wow.
bad. And it was $60 at release.
How old is
that
this game?
hurts.
2008.
Okay.
Yeah, that's inexcusable. All right, well, thank you for that. I feel like you needed to get something out.
Oh, it's been so. Ugh.
All right, Jordan.
Well, I can't top General Sherman's biker gang. Connor gets it. So my thing for worst contemporary video game is actually an entire series that I'd like to say, hey, you done fucked up.
Oh, no.
So let's talk about Call of Duty.
Oh, boy.
I have no problem with the first-person shooting and the multi... Okay, this is a probably close to $1 billion game.
Oh, more than that.
By now. Yet they don't have the... They have made several major mistakes that are so simple. For example, they're a super huge... and they're a power in the industry. They repeatedly have good characters commit war crimes. Like, the information's out there. Do some research. Put some time into your development of this game.
Yeah.
And properly research, like, what can they do? What can't they do? One particular example that a comedian actually points out in one of his stand-up bits, Kumail Nanjiani, talks about how he grew up in Pakistan. And there they speak a language called Urdu. But in the game... the game has literally the town that Kumail Nanjiani grew up in.
Sure. Wow. Which game is this in the series?
It was one of the middle games, like I think...
Like Black Ops 1 or 2?
I think it was Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, yeah.
After it stopped becoming like a war simulator, like when it started becoming...
But Karachi is actually the name of the place. And all the signs are in Arabic.
Sure.
But they don't speak Arabic.
Yeah.
They speak... like Google.
That's a major error. Yeah, that's a flaw.
So these little tiny things that are so easy to fix, and this game is not putting in the time to say, hey, let's not just be this thing, let's actually be a great game. Also, as someone who started playing when I was a bit younger, before I discovered great video games,
right?
I always wanted more story, like because they wrote some interesting stories. Until Call of Duty Ghost, which I got into until I watched the movie Red Dawn and was like, well, so that's where that came from.
Yeah.
So yeah, Call of Duty, man, get your shit together. You have the money, hire a researcher.
Right.
At least one.
Yeah, at least one. That's always been my problem with the Call of Duties is because I'm a story gamer. Like, I don't play video games because they're fun. Obviously, I like them because they're fun.
I need to learn something.
No, I do. Like, I need to be able to justify it to people. Like, it's like when you watch a movie, you're not doing it because you just want to sit. Well, some of us don't do it because we want to sit down and like stare at the screen. It's because we want to be told a story and like go on a journey. And I like doing that with video games because you're like in there. And Call of Duty is just like, hey, we need a single player to justify our multiplayer, and that's always been my biggest problem with Call of Duties.
Yeah.
Also, he says he's seen Red Dawn. He hasn't seen Red Dawn. He's seen the remake Red Dawn.
Well, okay. Well, he's seen Red Dawn, yeah.
Hey, it was fantastic.
Was it?
No.
Who was in? Who was in it?
Chris
Thor?
Hemsworth was the older brother, and then Josh Peck was the.
You are kidding me! I had no idea. I have to see this immediately.
He is trying so hard to make it in the business.
He has.
Isn't he?
You remember ATM?
ATM.
Yeah, ATM.
And now he's in that show with John Stamos. Like,
yeah.
Grandfather.
That's right.
Grandfather.
I forgot about that.
He is trying so hard. It's not going to happen. Just face it. Drake Bell is better than you.
Has he done anything?
No, but he doesn't have to.
Drake Bell is the new voice of Spider-Man in all the animated
stuff.
He's been the voice of Spider-Man for a while.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Was he in the video?
That's
no,
cool.
No,
Love you, Drake Bell. You will always be better than Josh Peck.
Yeah. just remake Drake and Josh.
Keep making shows.
Gritty live action reboot. It was already live action. Let's moving on. All right. Worst video game, Judd.
You're all gonna laugh at me so hard because I literally haven't played a new video game since 1998. So I'm gonna jump back and say that my least favorite video game on Super Nintendo, because that's the only thing that I've ever played, is Alfred Chicken. I don't know if anyone's ever played it.
I haven't even heard of it.
Alfred Chicken is...
It's people talk about it.
It's awful. I literally, original Alfred Chicken, cannot get past the first level. You start out, the moon circles around, says Alfred Chicken, then you go through this one door, brings you into this electronic factory, and made of cheese, and I cannot get out of it. And I keep exploding poor Alfred Chicken.
Oh.
I mean, I can't really say much more than that because that's all I ever play.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. I've heard... I have either heard that it is a terrible game from other people or that it is a great game from other people, and I can't remember which one.
Well, I want to meet those people who say it's a great game and have them help me get past the whole one because I literally can't.
So Alfred Chicken.
How about you, Alex? What's your pick for worst?
Well, I'm in a unique situation because I don't have a lot of money and I don't play a lot of video games. I do play. I love video games and I'm a huge gamer, but most of my video game knowledge comes from what other people say about video games. Okay. And when people talk about bad video games, I don't get those games. So I haven't played a lot of bad video games. I will say that the worst video game I've ever played, and this is kind of like just an easy answer, Batman or Arkham Origins. And I know that's it's popular to say that's a bad game, but that's honestly...
Now, of the Batmans that have recently come out, where does that come out?
Origins was the third game.
Release.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
But it was set before
it's a prequel.
The first.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
it was a different studio.
Right.
It was a different voice cast.
Exactly. Like everything about it was different, but it was technically part of the same universe.
The only reason, I mean, no one has officially said this, but I think we can all speculate that pretty accurately that the only reason it was made was to give fans something to play while they were developing and making the final Arkham game, which
the fourth game, and when they announced that, they said this completes the Arkham trilogy, implying that the third game that came out just
was
didn't
not
even
meant
exist.
to sort of be.
Oh.
So it's been disowned by its own franchise.
Which villains are in that one?
Quite a few, actually.
Well, yeah.
There's a whole story about let's all get the bat on this one night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Christmas Eve and a bunch of villains. A bunch of villains. I think Bane.
Bane is featured pretty well.
Bane is in their Deathstroke, and Deadshot. Deadshot's not in this one, is he? I don't remember. Okay, Deadshot is. and then a bunch of like
minor.
F-list villains that I've never even heard. And I'm a huge Batman fan, so like I've never even heard of some of these people. But
you're like Copperhead. What the hell is that?
yeah, well, Copperhead I knew about, but like anyway, it feels broken to me. I don't know if it was. I don't remember. I haven't played it in a while, and I like hit the pause button to try to bring up the map. And the map in the Arkham games have always been really great. Like you bring up the map and then you're like, oh, I'm here. I need to go there.
Yeah,
standard map.
Yeah, it's very intuitive in that you know exactly where you are.
What you're looking at. There's not too much information on the screen. Right. It's like here's the walls. There's an enemy, I guess. But with Arkham Origins, you hit the map button and it's just like it's just a wall of just visual noise, and you can't figure out what's going on. It's very hard to understand. And I was gonna stick it out because it was a Batman game, and I heard that it was not good for the franchise, but it was a good game. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, well, then maybe I'll just dissociate it from the rest of the Arkham games and just play it. And then I got to when the Riddler shows up.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call out like the actor who played the Riddler or anything.
Everyone knows. You might as well call him out.
Well, I know. I don't know the name of the guy. I'm just saying I don't like to call out individuals who did a bad job on a thing, because I'm sure everyone tried their hardest. But like as soon as I got to when the Riddler showed up, I was just like, I can't play this game.
Well, let's face it, they couldn't hire Jim Carrey because they didn't have enough money.
Well, he wasn't the Riddler in the first two games, but the guy who was in the first two were fantastic. Like the Riddler was my favorite part of the first two Arkham games.
Yeah.
And so like it was just really disappointing when I got to him.
Also, that's where the game broke.
Is it?
It was the Riddler challenges were broke. They were broken in that they were unobtainable. Or they were incomplete. Like the game was incomplete.
Whoa, yeah. See, that's the problem.
Yeah,
I didn't even play the Riddler challenges. I just got to when he showed up, and I was like, I can't. And I stepped away. I think for the night, I just haven't got back to it because I just do not care. So Arkham Origins, probably the worst game I ever
played. Hey, Jordan, what's your question?
So my question is, who is your favorite villain, and if it's applicable, who is your favorite person to portray that villain?
Okay.
Let me start
with...
This
is a great question, I want to say.
This was a great question.
One of my favorite villains, and it's because I don't know the character before the premise of which I've seen him, is Wilson Fisk or the Kingpin.
Yeah.
From Daredevil, but particularly Vincent, and I believe it's D'Onofrio. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Good try, though, really.
Yeah, D'Onofrio.
Good first try.
It was just fancy. That's okay.
So Vincent D'Onofrio, his portrayal of the Kingpin is fantastic.
It really is, yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, he is the Kingpin or Wilson Fisk, as he's referred to in series, of the Netflix series Daredevil.
Just came out 2015, I think it premiered.
Yeah, do watch it. It's really great.
It is. That first season is perfect television. Like, there's nothing wrong with that first season.
What I loved about the villain from the writing standpoint, and they probably draw it from the comics.
And Jordan, just so like. So everyone else is clear, you have not read the comics?
I have not read
okay.
any American comics.
So what do you read?
Manga.
Yeah. When I'm reading comics, it's usually that. But
Eastern comics.
Okay.
They're not called that.
No, they're not at all.
But so not knowing
from the Orient, I'm done.
Cut.
Not knowing
edit that out.
too much about the Daredevil franchise, they might have drawn it from the comics, but the way they're portraying the Kingpin in the series is he has good intentions. He truly wants to make Hell's Kitchen, which is a neighborhood in New York, a better place to live. I love, as an actor, I always want to play villains because I love justifying the villain's decisions.
I feel the same way. I love playing villains.
Yeah.
Because good writing includes characters that have actual legitimate objectives and motives.
Right.
And
not just, I'm evil. Because I'm evil.
It's not mustache twirls and monocles.
That can be fun sometimes. There's a place for that. I don't want to... Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
But he has good intentions. It's just that he lacks morality, and he's willing to go what a hero would call too far to get what he wants.
That's why Daredevil and him are like pitted against each other.
Right. The thing that I found the most interesting about his acting was the physical work he does. Mm-hmm. He has this great tension and this great twitch with his hand.
Yeah.
He portrays it very well, and he makes this choice, and I feel like it would be an actor choice more than a writing thing. But he has a social anxiety
Mm-hmm.
that is very...
But they're very apparent in the writing, though. Like, that's
Right. But I mean more, it was made for the Netflix series rather than it's a part of the comic lore.
It'd be really hard to have a character as a Twitch in a comic book.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that specifically. Like,
Right,
the
right.
physicality of it. Yeah.
Jordan, do you ever have social anxiety?
I do not.
Okay.
But I find it interesting because I also see where it's grounded from. It's
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it because that's revealing it to anyone who hasn't seen it, but he has this backstory that very much would cause him to be a bit reclusive. Like,
Man, yeah, that flashback episode.
right, it's fantastic.
It was great.
So anyone who hasn't seen Daredevil, watch it. Watch Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, he has masterful
fantastic
control
actor.
of like his body and like how it moves in relation to the character.
Yeah.
It is spot on. Terrifying too. Like he's intimidating. You're frightened by him.
Yes, so that is my pick.
Yeah,
Jody.
very good.
All right, I'm going to go with the Mystique, played by Jennifer Lawrence, because I don't even like J-Law.
All right, Jayla.
I don't really like anything else that she does, but I'm going to pick her. Connor's so disgusted.
No, just like... I don't know. Like, just you're like, her because that's what I've seen her, but I hate everything else. It was just more. It was comical.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Well, she's seen the original X-Men movies,
right?
So she
Yes.
knows, like the Mystique.
So there's, I was going to say, there's my two Mystiques.
Right. Those are your only two like examples.
Right.
So I don't know.
In film.
Right.
And let's face it, the first 3 X-Men movies, she was just a shell of a human
Yeah.
being or a mutant.
There
And
wasn't much character
so
there.
who gives a fuck? She's literally just there to be a sex symbol almost.
Right.
But I don't know, rooting back to that angsty feeling and not fitting in. I'm just really connect with that character a lot and how she's always constantly choosing between the good and the evil and the, all that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
they do a really great job with the writing of that character. I'm not gonna say that Jennifer Lawrence is bad at it. She's amazing.
Right. Okay. She does a good job.
She does a great job as Mystique, and so yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I also really like him. I don't know. Have you seen the newer movies like First Class?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah,
then
that's
So good.
I personally
So good.
love her in First Class even more than
Days of Future.
Days of Future Past because at that time Jennifer Lawrence was not as thin as she was now. So I personally
this
liked
was
that.
pre-Hunger Games.
Yeah,
First Class.
yeah. Then that really added that layer to her insecurities and, us being right now in the break of, like, every body type matters. But she kind of really started that and, like, pushed it and was like, there was this Mystique in these old movies and now I'm portraying Mystique and this is what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
But so I just personally identify a lot with that character.
Cool.
Mystique is really interesting character.
I'm really worried what you're gonna say.
I have no idea what you're going to say.
Because that's the thing. Either you will be the complete opposite of what I'm gonna say, or it's gonna
The
be
exact-
the exact same thing on all points.
There was
Probably.
one, immediately when I heard the question, there was one that might be yours. That my brain.
I mean, maybe we'll see.
That my brain immediately went to.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And I thought that's the obvious answer. If this isn't yours, I'll say.
Oh no, just go ahead. Just go ahead.
Well, this isn't what I chose because I was like,
no,
this
shoot,
would be.
no, shoot. Like what? Yeah, answer the question. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what I eventually decided on was it's probably not what you're thinking.
I mean,
Ozymandias from Watchmen.
not okay.
Because I wasn't like most people. I wasn't crazy about the film. I thought it did a great job at literally taking what was in the comic book and making it live action. That's essentially what it was. There was no. I mean, there were a few plot differences in terms of the end, which I don't really want to spoil, but it's hard to talk about.
The director's cut. Don't watch anything other than the director's cut.
Really,
Yeah.
I don't think I've.
The director's cut.
Oh
fills
yeah,
in
I've
on
heard.
it.
I heard it
Yeah.
has all the Curse of the Black
Yeah.
ship. I can't remember the name. And do they do all the stuff with the
No.
writers and all the great people being taken kidnapped and taken away?
To an extent, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing about Watchmen, and I'm not going to spoil it, but this might kind of spoil it.
If they haven't seen it by now,
Potential
honestly.
spoiler warning.
Yeah, potential spoiler warning.
Get your shit together. If you have not seen it, get it together.
It's also
Go
10 years old.
Go read the comic book and then watch the
I was
movie.
going to say, also the graphic novel is...
Yeah, the graphic, which is the interpretation. I know it's the original version of the character,
Yeah.
but that's the best ones from the comics. And he is one of the. Okay, I'm going to spoil it. He's one of the good guys. He's part of the good guy team.
Shocker. Shock and disbelief. Okay. I'm over it.
I'm not done. And then it turns out that he was like behind the villainous plot, quote unquote, the whole time, which was to in the comic book it was to release an alien. Well, it's complicated, but like his idea is he releases this biological bomb essentially into New York City, the heart of New York City, and kills millions of people. And the reason is because it unites. Is it Russia and America?
Right,
because
the premise of Watchmen is the
it's
Cold War
set,
is still continuing.
Yeah, it's set in the 80s, but the Cold War is still going. But it's in like the heat of it, and like
Nixon is on like his third or fourth term.
Yeah, it's alternate history.
Yeah.
And like they are on the brink of. I think they like literally have like a week until the missiles go flying.
Well, it's the doom clock, the death clock is always at 1 minute to midnight.
Yeah, and it's like the world is going to end, everybody is going to die, and so Ozymandias makes the choice to be like, I'm going to kill millions of people in like one of the most populated cities on Earth because it will make America and Russia and the world go like, okay, we need to stop fighting each other and fight the alien threat. And so the idea is he makes like the horrible choice, and the whole plot is like the rest of the good guys trying to like figure out the plot and then stop him. And then they find out they're too late. One of the greatest lines in comic book history. I did it 35 minutes ago. It gives me chills every time. And it's like a very it's like an ethical problem. And like he's such a great character to be like, I'm making this decision. It has to happen. And I know that makes me the bad guy, but
and what I love about characters like that is. So his whole thing is he's the smartest man in the world, other than Mr. Manhattan, but that's a whole other thing.
Oh yeah, he's not even on the same plane.
Right, Mr. Manhattan is essentially a god.
Yeah.
But he's the smartest being in the world, and he's able to use his logic and overcome that human emotion of conscience, and able to use that pure logic to say, hey, this is a terrible thing, but it's the right thing to do.
Right.
And ultimately it works.
Right.
Which is what is so interesting. Like, that's a great character because he's able to not be human while at the same time being very human.
Yeah, it's one of the rare times that it's like the villain of the story who's doing something that's clearly a bad thing. If he didn't have to do this, obviously he wouldn't, and he's right about it. I mean, that can be argued, I guess, but like in my view, like that is the right thing to do in that scenario because it's like this many people versus all the people.
Right. And I think Ozymandias as a character is a really great example. And you mentioned earlier that sometimes the mustache twirling villain is necessary.
Yeah.
He is kind of that. He's not because
he plays it up that way.
He is literally that, but the way the material is written, he's not approached that way.
Right. He does have like the scenery showing, like he literally has his mansion, he has his outfit, and he like walks.
He has he has the Bond villain monologue.
He does.
He has a lot of that,
and like that's kind of what I love about that character is like mostly the scene that he like reveals his whole plot, and he's like telling the good guys like his plan. He's like, I'm gonna kill all these people, and that'll unite the world, blah blah blah. And they're like, we're not gonna let you do this. And he's like, I'm not some comic book villain, or at least that's the line in the movie or whatever. It's like, I did it 35 minutes ago. You're too late to stop me. And then it like cuts to that happening, and it's
funny. All of the villains that we just named are basically like that.
Yeah,
like have good people making maybe not so good decisions.
Yeah, well,
and then there's Connor.
Isn't that the segue then?
Right. Cut to
guys. It's the most cliche one.
Sure.
It's the one everyone who's probably listening is thinking of right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Joker.
The Joker. Now,
I
don't know which version you're going to say.
Okay, great. And I am glad
because
that I at least get to have this discussion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pair them together because they're the same writer. The Arkham.
Okay.
And the animated series Joker.
Oh,
so essentially,
Mark
Hamill Joker as written by Paul Dini.
Paul Dini.
Gosh, that Paul Dini.
So, what I really love about their take on the Joker is the Joker as a character is all of the Jokers that have ever been and ever could be simultaneously. I mean, not that he's like 1 second. He's literally the 1960s,
George Romero? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he 1 second he could be the guy that shoots acid in your face.
Yeah.
And then wipes it clean and says, "Oh, I'm really sorry, let's go out for pizza." And literally the next second stab you, laugh about it, and, shove you in a gutter somewhere. I mean, and have those swings. One of my favorite moments of the animated series, which exemplifies this perfectly, is in the episode, I believe it's titled "The Man Who Killed the Bat." And supposedly this greaseball, slime ball of like an attorney, or like I think he's like he does taxes or something.
Accountant.
That's exactly what it is. He's an accountant, exactly.
He does.
He's the accountant for like the Joker, and he's like forced to do this, because who'd want to be the accountant for Joker?
Well, right.
And the Batman's onto him, like he's chasing him, and Batman supposedly slips on something and supposedly dies.
Wow.
And the Joker
What a way to go.
The Joker thinks this guy did it, so he strings him up.
Whoa.
And has him over like a vat of acid.
Fucking
And
that.
the Joker is giving a eulogy for Batman. And it's this beautiful and it like modulates between this really remorseful, he was my best friend, to he was my greatest enemy, I wanted to kill him, and then he starts talking about him, and he just goes manic about him, and then the next second he's, let's all get Chinese. So I mean that's the perfect example of that Joker.
Yeah.
Now the other part of the question was who, if applicable, who would play. If everyone can bear with me on this.
Oh boy.
Everyone can bear with me on this. Yep. I mean, in an ideal world, I have a time machine where I pick up Mark Hamill right after doing A New Hope, and I'm just like, hey, Mark, you want to do the Joker? But we can't.
He'd probably say no.
I would probably.
Let's face it, he'd probably say no.
Well, he was in one of the biggest movies of all time, so.
Yeah. But, no, that's...
But not at the time.
But going realistically, I would want... So as like an actor and as a writer, like I'm really into what would I do if sort of scenarios, like what if I were writing a Batman show?
Right.
What version of the character would I want? And of course, I would want that version of the character.
Sorry.
No, it hurt. It's okay.
Yeah. We don't have a microphone.
We don't have a microphone or anything.
Yeah.
I would want that version of the Joker, and I wouldn't want to tell necessarily the actor like affect that. Use this as inspiration, or it should just use the writing. And who I would cast is Matt Smith.
Really?
Ooh, I love that pick.
Because I think he has the range to do it.
He does.
He has certainly proven that he has the physicality mindset. And I'm not saying because his physicality as the Doctor in Doctor Who is that.
For those who might not recognize the name, he played the 11th Doctor in
the best.
The BBC's Doctor Who.
Well, that's another topic. A great Doctor, one of the
fantastic. Well, a Geronimo.
Definitely the hottest Doctor.
Stopping.
Anyway, that didn't throw me off.
Yeah.
Matt Smith, because he seems to have a very keen mind and able to make physical choices really distinct and succinct. That's paired with text, and and not only that, but he would be a great name draw. Like Matt Smith is playing this character on this show. What is it, or this movie? And then you see, and
definitely
he just does the laugh or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
That's a good one.
Idea. Yeah, I've always thought that the Joker is one of the. That's why, when the question was asked, this was my first.
Right.
Like my go-to, it's like, oh, the Joker, and my initial thought was Heath Ledger's Joker because that's just like the most popular adaptation of a character that people have really responded positively to. And I've always, and the reason is because I've always loved the Joker because when you look at villains, they're usually they have their own sense of right and wrong or whatever. There's no character, with the exception of the Joker, who is truly just evil, just for the sake of being just an evil person. And that's who the Joker is. It's like, no, I'm evil. This is what I do.
I think
I'm
that's what draws so many people to him.
Right. And
because so many people don't have that.
Right.
Unless you're a sociopath.
Yeah. All villains are like, I'm right about this.
And while we're on the topic of the Joker, gotta say I'm excited. Even though the antics of method acting disgust me, I'm excited to see what Jared Leto does with the character.
I'm excited too.
Because I've heard great things. I can't wait to see this contemporary, like, post-2010 interpretation of...
Yes.
Because from the material, it's definitely very meant to be
Whoa.
today's Joker.
You just made me realize that The Dark Knight came out in 2008.
Oh,
and that
gosh.
was like 8 years ago. It's
know.
2016.
How did method acting get
there
into
are
that?
actually stories out there of Jared Leto sending used condoms, dead animals, sex toys to his fellow actors.
Oh.
And in general, just being a terrifying person to be around during the filming because he didn't break character. He was method acting.
Heath Ledger did that too.
I was gonna say Heath
Right.
Ledger
And
does that.
people-
Mike Meyer does that, and that's why nobody likes working with him anymore.
People just
Daniel
were-
Day-Lewis.
oh
I think
yeah,
is the
he's bad
biggest-
at it too. Yeah.
He's a...
The actress who played Harley Quinn she had actually
Margot
said that
Robbie?
she was terrified of him, like actually scared of Jared Leto, and that stuff disgusts me as an actor because you're an actor, goddammit, act.
No, right, exactly.
But
Well,
I'm
if
still
it makes-
excited
if it
to
does-
see this because if it can have that effect, I want to see it. As sick as that is,
The upcoming Suicide Squad movie looks like it's going to be the greatest movie of all time. Like, just by the trailers alone.
I mean,
Give me that.
yes, it looks great.
It looks amazing. I cannot wait for this
And
movie.
for listeners, when Jordan says method acting, that is not actually method acting. That is a bastardized version.
Well, yeah.
Of like of Meisner teaching. There's an important distinction.
yeah.
Okay.
Not to be like that snob in the room, but like that.
Actually, that's
Well, no,
Excuse me?
I certainly do correct me. If I'm
Like
wrong.
no, and I don't mean to correct because I know you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
The Joker is amazing.
yeah.
All right.
Hey Jody, what's your question?
Yeah, Jody.
My question of the week is if some famous actor was going to portray you in a movie, who would you want to play you versus who should play you in that movie? This is really hard because now I have to think of my answers. My first instinct was who should play me is probably Anne Hathaway. I've just always, especially when I was younger, like they're like, oh, you look a lot like Anne Hathaway and, the dark hair. And she was just, especially near like her beginning of her career, just very, very much like my personality. And now she's gone and done really, really great things. She's really blossomed as an actress. But, so that's who I think should play me. Traditionally, there's nothing really special about her, but she'll get the job done. Yeah. Who I would want to play me, I guess, would be... this is the most stupid answer I could think of. Literally a plus-size version of Emma Stone. Because I literally think if she had that layer to her, she would be the best actress in the world.
Emma Stone is phenomenal.
Yeah.
She is the best.
No, I was just thinking about like your like that thesis, that assertion. I definitely agree with that 100%.
Thank you. Oh, that makes me feel really good.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Because if we can like spend like a second
Yes.
on that.
Yes.
Like she is someone who is so unbelievably seems to be like I've clearly worked with her, but like on point every step of the way. There is not I honestly have not seen a movie
where
she is not on point. Like I saw Aloha and that was not a great movie.
You saw Birdman, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
But she was like fantastic. She
Yeah.
was for me.
She always is in every single movie.
Right. So, but she does not have an edge to it. She does not have an X factor other than the fact that she's just that good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think like you said, like giving her that extra edge would definitely make her, I think, the best, at least American
Yes.
actress.
Yes.
100%.
Of our time, definitely.
We are on the same page.
Yay!
On this. All right,
Yay.
great.
Dude, write that down. Connor never agrees with me on anything.
This is true. No, that's completely true.
Whew, I'm going to remember this day forever.
Yeah. What's the date? It doesn't matter. So
5, 6, 16.
Yeah, one of those.
Way to ruin it. Way to date it.
Yeah, way to date the episode. It's 5, 6, 16. So this is it's hard for me to judge myself. I think it is for a lot of people. Just be like, here's what I think of myself. So I guess who I would want to play me. I kind of go back and forth between Jesse Eisenberg
Oh.
because he's like
What?
would want
Like,
to.
you
right.
would want to
not,
play.
Not saying would, like if they were making a movie.
No,
And
no, that's
Right,
the
right.
second half.
Now,
Yeah,
let
yeah,
me
it's
give
the
a
second
jab. Is this pre-Lex Luthor or post-Lex Luthor?
Well,
That's the thing. That's the problem. It's the same person. It's the same actor.
I mean, I think
Like,
Social Network,
Social Network,
Jesse Eisenberg,
or
'cause he
even
seems
Zombie.
like-
I almost said Zombie
Zombieland.
Prom. Zombie Land. Sorry.
Zombie Prom. Zombie Prom I would
Zombie
watch.
Prom.
I would watch Zombie
I
Prom.
would watch Jesse Eisenberg
And
not a Zombie Prom.
Well, I think we
It's a show, Zombie Prom.
Oh my god!
High schools all over
I
the
want
United
it.
States
I want
are
it
doing it.
right now.
Wow. It's a Netflix.
You heard it,
Netflix
Jesse.
original.
Get to work.
Yeah. So, because he has like the perfect balance of like being really, really like geeky and nerdy, but also being really suave about it. And he like no real person is like that. But I like to think that I toe that line. So
he definitely has this quality of aloofness.
yeah.
That doesn't inherently come across, at least on film,
Right.
as being an arrogant son of a bitch.
No.
Yes,
you never-
exactly.
But
And that's
the
what I
thing
like
is-
about him.
Thing is, watch an interview with him.
I don't want to.
He's not charming in the don't come to my house and like murder me, just
Yeah. Well,
But like, my God, like I was watching an interview with him. It was just after Batman Superman came out, and he was talking about fans, and he said, I'm not going to get into it. He said some of the most horrible things
whoa.
about fans that were completely unwarranted, and he's laughing about it. I'm just like, oh no.
He's probably still in character. Lex Luthor
Well-
is insane.
Well, no, he wasn't playing the Joker, so he wasn't in character.
You saw Batman v
Bum.
Superman.
Yeah.
He was playing the Joker.
Yeah, I meant in the interview.
Right.
Not even. Don't soil the Joker's name with that performance. That was disgusting.
So it would either be him or Andrew Garfield because
I love Andrew Garfield.
he has a very similar quality of being like really nerdy but really cool about it, and
He's way more cool than Jesse Eisenberg.
yeah. Also, the show Social Network. So
It's fantastic.
it is a great movie.
I haven't seen it. I'm so stupid.
Aaron Sorkin is my favorite screenwriter
Mm-hmm.
and television writer.
Yeah. So kind of a mix between them, but who I think would play me. So
As in, like, should.
Like should.
oh right, like who like
Yeah.
outside of my control, other
Right.
people would cast me. I would have to say Rupert Grint.
I knew you were gonna say that.
From
Just
the
because
Harry
you're
Potter
here?
movies. I'm a ginger, so I will put that up front. And a lot of people, not people who know me, but like a lot of the people who
Meet
just
him or
meet
see
me or
him.
see him, like immediately jump to that and be like, "You look like Ron Weasley." And I'm like, "There's only one thing about me that looks like Ron Weasley. I don't bear like a facial resemblance."
Isn't that
to
funny?
this
I
person."
picked Anne Hathaway because that's what I always got to.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting, because like when you were talking about Jesse Eisenberg and Andrew Garfield,
Yeah.
I kind of thought you were saying, and this made perfect sense to me, that you wanted it to be Jesse Eisenberg, or you wanted it to be Andrew Garfield, but it would be Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh, you're completely
Like-
right. It would be.
Okay.
Like
well,
that's like for like me thinking about how maybe you would.
well, I led
like-
this with it's very hard for people to judge
Right.
themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But honestly, though, like as someone who's known you for a few years,
Several years now.
now.
Oh my gosh, it's like almost 10. Isn't that
Oh
crazy?
my god,
Yeah. We're so old.
We're so old. In our 20s, we're so old.
Remember earlier in this episode when we were like, we're all in our early 20s. Screen.
Yeah. Walk to school uphill both ways.
Yeah.
Snow. Year round.
Could you say?
Carry a big
it's-
potato.
But having known you for this long, and every time we do like writing, like we write characters,
Right.
When we write, like you have a specific way
Oh,
to deliver
there's-
things.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a specific comedy you have, and it comes across in almost anything you do. I can't cast anybody but you
Yeah.
as you.
Right. Oh yeah.
I
well,
love those characters mainly because I love you, but I
Like,
love those
so,
characters.
like Jesse Eisenberg, okay, he would do a decent job. He could not. I don't believe, like, as talented as he is, he could not capture you. So, because you were just so, like...
He'd
this is-
stutter
this is a
too
compliment,
much
by the
for
way.
one, but
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
No,
compliment, by the way. I mean
exactly.
this,
Right.
like...
Well, that's very
Yeah,
good.
you're,
to hear.
Andrew-
I think you're uncastable.
Andrew Garfield would be probably the closest.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
I am fully on board with all of these things that are being said. I'm great, and we should move on to.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I am
As
so
you're turning beat red.
I'm so
Right.
excited to hear this.
See,
this
that's the
answer.
thing. This question, I'm still struggling with it. I still don't really have an answer.
It's a very difficult question to
I
answer.
really don't have it because it's...
Young Philip Seymour Hoffman.
See, that's the
Whoa.
thing. That's the thing.
Oh
Totally
my gosh!
That's the
Yes,
thing. Yes.
Twister. Yeah.
Yes. But
Whistler.
A, we don't have a time machine, and B, unfortunately,
Whatever.
he's dead.
Oh, if we're bringing time into this, young Marlon Brando is me. What's up?
No.
What's up?
Not
no,
not
want
the
to.
slightest.
Want to.
Marlon
Oh,
Brando,
Marlon
get
Brando.
over yourself.
Have you seen
Star into heaven.
Pre-Godfather?
Stella.
Pre-Godfather. Pre-all.
Stella for Starlight.
When he's like in his 20s, when he's like my age. Yeah. All right. Go on.
And buff as shit, and you're not.
Yeah. Totally. It's a fantasy. It's who you
Right,
want to be.
right. It's whoever you want to be, right?
Right.
Oh my god, that's the thing. Like when you first posted the question, I tried really hard to like find two people, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna think of who should play me, like that's all I'm gonna like. Why would I want anyone else other than who should play me? You know what I mean?
Well,
Like, because like I try trying to think objectively.
we all see ourselves as
Right.
one way, but we know that we're
right.
another
Trying to be objective as possible,
Right.
like, outside of me. Like I don't.
way. Young Philip Seymour Hoffman.
No,
I'm stuck on that. That's so funny.
I was thinking that's who I would want.
Yeah.
Right? That's exactly who I would want. God, it'd be fucking Seth Rogen.
Really?
It'd be
Really?
fucking Seth Rogen.
Why?
Seth Rogen?
To want or that should?
It not should. It would happen.
Well,
Well,
It would happen.
I
So
don't
should.
think-
So quote unquote should.
Should. It would happen.
so correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen a lot of Seth Rogen movies, but I don't think he's ever had, like, in his films, an intelligent conversation.
50-50?
Well, not only that, but like the Steve Jobs film, also written by Aaron Sorkin. He plays Steve Wozniak.
Which, who played Steve Jobs in that?
Michael Fassbender.
Really?
Yes.
I have not seen this movie.
I just bought it. I saw
I
it.
was
in
gonna
theaters.
say
It got panned, but when I seen it in theaters, I worked in movie theater, and so I kind of get to go in and out of movies. It was fantastic, and it was written as a 3-act play. Each act is a scene, just a really long scene.
Whoa.
But it's only like an hour and a half movie. Like it's not.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's a 90-minute.
That should be my peep
Film.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be separate. And I think the reason I've come to that is when I was at
Wow.
work. Yeah, I mean I hate that too.
Yeah.
But like, and not because of not because of like that we.
No, not
because we
physically.
don't we
No,
don't.
you don't.
But I was told, and I don't hear it, and of course you never hear it when it's your own voice. But like I can sound like him. I disagree.
I
But
disagree too.
But like
I don't think you sound like him at all. I think I sound more like him than you do.
I think.
I don't know.
I don't think anything.
I think Jordan sounds like more like Seth.
Oh, yeah.
Than any of us in the room, and that's
just because I'm a man-child, Connor.
that's
Come
not-
on.
No, let's get it straight. I sound more like Seth Rogen
What?
than anybody in this
Yeah,
room.
I wasn't going to be the first one to say it, but...
I don't know, but like it was something that was said to me. So like it's something I've been thinking about a lot. Like do I? And like I was taken back when I first heard that. I was like,
Oh,
no,
right.
no, absolutely not.
I mean...
I was offended. No offense, Seth Rogen. I actually do like some of your work.
I like most of his
Um,
movies.
But so I was thinking maybe like there's something I'm not seeing or I'm not getting. We definitely do not have the same like general character type like us individuals
No.
at all.
Well, that's the thing. You have a very educated air about you.
Yeah, that's what I'm... Yeah.
Like, the way you speak sounds...
Jordan, you can say it. I'm an arrogant asshole. It's okay.
Well,
it's fine.
Well,
in
I
a
was
word.
gonna say
Or
no.
in 2 words.
No, like, you sound like someone who has spent as much time as you have in college.
Burn.
What is going on 6-7 years now?
Why don't you graduate?
But
Hitting double digits. Close.
and Seth Rogen.
I am not.
You are close.
You're close.
No, I am not.
You are closer than you are not. You are more than halfway to it.
Fair statement.
True.
But
okay, so-
and I'm not saying Seth Rogen isn't an educator. I don't know his person. I haven't read into his bio, but the characters he plays are certainly more hapless and a little, not necessarily the dumb side, but certainly not above average. And I don't. You got to be able to capture that if you're going to capture Connor Clee.
If you were going to make a person out of the word schleb, it would be Seth Rogen. And
But
I
you
just don't get
say
that.
it right. Say it right. A schlub.
A schleb. A schleb.
You gotta get like the
Yeah.
schlub.
A schleb. A schleb.
There you go.
That was really good.
Thanks.
Speaking of all Jews. Speaking for the Jews.
Yeah,
That was
okay.
really good.
All right, awesome. Is that all we have to say about Seth Rogen?
That's all I have.
Wait,
to
no,
say.
you didn't say who you would want to play you.
Oh,
Or can you not get...
Young Philip Seymour Hoffman, yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Young
Oh,
Philip-
really?
He answered
Oh,
it,
okay.
perfectly for me.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Which I see that a lot more than I see.
No, I do too.
Yeah.
Specifically, like the doubt, like that time period, like the late part of his career.
Sure.
Really? That's so interesting. Okay.
All right, so Jordan.
Yeah, so as far as who I would like to imagine would play...
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
No.
Oh my gosh, I would die.
Way too short.
I
Way too
tower
short.
over it.
Is
I
this a
can't.
comedy?
Yeah. It'd be like, listen, Tom. Listen, this is how you play me.
Actually, I'd have to say Robert Downey Jr.
Really?
Only because,
Really?
Want, right? You
Want.
want him to
Right,
play.
Not
okay.
sure. Okay.
Only because, it's particularly his portrayal of Tony Stark. Now, I realize that I am an arrogant person. I have the tendency to be egotistical and stubborn and kind of an asshole.
You've literally just described every single person in this room.
Yeah.
Right. But also...
That's why we're doing a podcast. How you
Yeah,
doing?
literally. We love to talk about ourselves.
I mean, like everyone else, I've had my fair deal of shit to go through.
Sure.
But those same things that made my life suck are the things that made me into a creative and, I would like to say, successful person. And I think that Robert Downey Jr. does a great job of portraying those characters who are not just successful though they've been damaged, but instead successful because they've been damaged.
Yeah.
And
Sherlock Holmes.
right, seeing him do that is what made me think, God, yes, if someone were to be me, that's what I think they would need. But in reality...
So when you say that, do you need specifically him or someone that can show that?
Well, of course, multiple actors can do
Right.
things, but
Yeah,
he's to me the poster child for that.
Okay, cool.
I just want to point out that one of us at this table has a mug that has like the Avengers symbols
Literally all of them?
all over them,
Painted? Hand painted?
hand painted, and it's
Wait,
the
who's
one who
this
just
one?
said they would want Robert Downey
Who is
Jr.
this?
to play them.
Who is this?
That's Black Widow.
Oh, that bitch.
Uh,
Sorry.
We'll talk about Scarlett Johansson on a future podcast. I'm
okay.
sure.
But
ScarJo.
in reality, who would end up playing me is probably Nick Frost.
Really?
Uh,
That's awesome.
Oh my
No,
god!
absolutely not. That's who Tyler would be.
Simon Pegg was going to be one of my.
That is who you should have said. He would have done a good job.
Yeah.
Oh my! I live with this motherfucker. Yes. Yes, and I don't mean that like not just physically and not to like.
right. No, the reason I picked
Oh my God.
Nick Frost as who would probably play me is, though I am a very smart person, I don't come off as it because I have this very hapless nature. I'm also, just kind of a schlub.
That's a flip.
I am
The word of the day is.
I am the perpetual not leading man. And though I think Nick Frost is a very
The
talented
comic
actor,
relief.
yeah, I think that's who would end up playing me is like the best friend because let's face it, if I'm ever in a movie, it's Connor's movie and I'm just his roommate.
Aww.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
You're calling Connor Simon Pegg in this situation.
Oh, thank you, but oh.
So I think we've hit two very distinct character types here of Seth Rogen being just the personification of a schleb, and Nick Frost being the personification of like the secondary best friend.
Yeah.
That is a perfect way to describe him. I think he needs to get his own movie as like
He
the
does.
character who's like
You're way better than
You're
that,
right,
Nick Frost.
Yeah.
Nick Frost,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Because
Yes.
I think he needs to be like the star of a movie called like The Best Friend or something, where it's like the focus is there's a character that is Nick Frost's friend who is having like some adventure.
Simon Pegg.
Has to be.
No, get out from under that ball sack.
Well,
Come
that's
on.
what- no,
No, I think Simon
What?
Pegg is barely in the movie. Simon Pegg is barely in this movie.
Exactly. He's in like two scenes, one at the
Yes.
beginning, one at the end, or
Yes.
something. And Nick Frost is like, I can be my own person. I can do all these things by myself.
Oh,
There's
I
a
could
girl
do
in
these
the
things by
garden.
myself, mate.
This is my Nick Frost. He sounds like a beetle.
And just Nick Frost, if you ever hear this podcast, by the way, internet, make it happen.
Yeah.
Shout out for your portrayal of Santa Claus in Doctor
Yes.
Who.
Oh,
You're
right.
a
I completely
fantastic
forgot about that.
motherfucker.
I think he's great in all this movie.
We saw him
Personally.
without Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, he was in Doctor Who. Doesn't count.
Oh, nope. Neither was.
But not in
And
the same season or the same doctor.
Doesn't matter.
And
Doesn't matter.
Andrew Garfield was, so basically all of you.
Yeah.
Or, the trio.
He was in. Andrew Garfield is amazing. One of my favorite young actors of all time. Worst episode of Doctor Who.
One of the worst episodes.
I haven't seen it, so I want to see it.
Even like the really bad ones, you can enjoy.
Father's Day.
I can enjoy Father's Day.
Oh no!
I can have fun with it. I mean, it's terrible, but I can have fun with it. But the Daleks take Manhattan or whatever. Abysmal episode. Like the whole way through, it's just boring. It's just boring.
The what?
It's a two-parter, and it's called The Daleks.
Oh, I thought you were talking about... Never mind. Okay. I was thinking about a different episode.
So, terrible episode. But Andrew Garfield's amazing. So is that... We good?
Yeah. Who was that actor who's playing the new Spider-Man?
Oh, who
Do you
cares?
remember his name?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Wait.
Shout out to Tom Holland.
Hey, everyone. Literally the only thing I've ever heard him say.
Have you not seen the movie yet?
Oh, no, I haven't seen Civil War yet.
Yes, Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, if you ever get this, you would have been my choice, but no one's seen Civil War yet because it just came out yesterday.
Yeah.
You are...
Man, we are just dating this episode like nobody's been this.
Yeah. I think you can suck it, Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Because you will never be as good as Andrew Garfield.
This is true.
But whatever.
Strong disagreement.
I want to make a brief segment to talk about Marvel because Civil War's coming.
Why?
Civil War came out.
Why? That will be a whole episode.
No, I'll be quick and I can edit this out. Right, yeah.
That'll be literally like
so
5 episodes.
Right. Civil War came out yesterday. I haven't seen it yet, and the reason is because what's the reason? Why?
Because of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a show, and it's set in the Marvel Universe.
Which I have not seen.
Okay, and Dad, my father, and I are watching it, and we don't have that much time because we're both so busy, and
Cats in the cradle and the silver
Stop.
Wow,
Stop.
no! Why'd you
Openly
take it
weeping.
there?
Openly weeping.
Because his father does that to him all the time.
Jokingly, in jest.
No,
My
not
father
at
used
all.
to do that to me too.
And look where you are.
But for real.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go.
So we haven't caught up. We haven't caught up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. To the episode that comes before Civil War. We have like 10, 15 episodes still to watch.
Okay.
And we don't know what's. I don't know how to do.
So-
I don't know how to do it.
Okay, so not that Joss Whedon is attached to the Marvel Cinematic /TV /Netflix.
No, he created the show, but he's not really.
No, and he
working
wasn't
on
even
it.
necessarily the
showrunner.
Yes,
Yeah.
the showrunner. It was mainly his brother.
Yeah, Jed Whedon and Marissa. I never know how to
Tomei?
pronounce her name. Tankeron.
Oh.
It's
So Marissa Tomei is in fact Aunt May in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
She's the new Aunt May.
She's the new Aunt May.
They
Isn't
make it
that
work.
crazy? I literally just pulled that out of my ass.
What's her name? Who is she?
Marissa Tomei.
What's she done?
My cousin Vinny.
Yeah, my cousin Vinny. What else?
Was she not? Wasn't she in 40-Year-Old Virgin? Wasn't that
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
Not to be confused with Ursula from George of the Jungle, which is the only reason that you watch that movie.
Leslie
I'm sure.
Mann. Yeah,
Sure.
it was the only reason I watched.
She
George
is
of
a
the Jungle.
man, pretty much.
Leslie Mann is awesome.
Why don't you? Never mind.
Okay, so that was
Okay, so going back, initially, and I don't know if they've changed direction with the show, with that show, and the rest of everything. Originally, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was parallel to the cinematic /Netflix universe.
Yeah.
But not canon.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Whereas, Daredevil
Right.
is canon.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, canon. Luke Cage, canon. The Defenders, canon.
Agent Carter?
Agent Carter is part of Agents
Not,
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
not
right.
canon.
Well,
Tied
she
in.
has her own show, too.
Yeah.
But are those events and is that show canon?
Well, I never heard anything about it being not canon.
Okay.
When they first announced it, it was going to be like, hey, you know how the movies are all take place together? Well, this is also a TV show, same universe, everything is paired.
Because there was an interview with Joss Whedon, and this is back even before the show aired. They were filming a pilot. That he said this is a fun parallel show that does not, in his mind, interact or have any ramifications.
Maybe that's just how he had to think about it. Because
Maybe.
here's the biggest problem, and I think this is why a lot of people don't watch it right now. Is because the first season wasn't great, and the reason is because they didn't really have much there as far as story goes, and most importantly, they had to like work around what the movies were doing. They couldn't like have Thor show up and then kill Thor in an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they need him for the movies, and so they were kind of like waiting for the movies to come out and then do stuff from that. And once
and also you think like assert their place instead, and like no, these are the storylines we're gonna take. These are ours.
Sure, because like afterward, like season 2, after Winter Soldier came out, which Winter Soldier was like the big movie that came out during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. times, and the big twist from Winter Soldier, like with S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything that happened there, really had drastic ramifications for the show. Spoilers. And that really changed what the show was doing and what it did and the characters and everything. And ever since then, the show has been great. Like I think the show's really good. A lot of people.
I'm really gonna listen. You can spend your own podcast time.
Well, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Because it's time for my favorite segment, Peeves of the Week.
Peeves of the Week. So this is where we talk about what's annoying us. Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go first because I have one.
Great.
It's like low level peeves this week.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, the KISS rule. I work at a place of business where we park in the back. So, we have our own separate parking lot behind the building. You go down there, the only people that are going to be parking back there are employees of the office. My biggest peeve is that why every single time that I'm either walking to my car or in my car, driving out or in or vice versa or whatever, why do I always have to wave at my coworkers? I literally either am going to see you in that building or I have just seen you all gosh darn day and I don't want to see you anymore.
Why do you feel you have to?
I don't know, because everybody else does it.
Oh.
It's just one of those social
It's
things.
a social
not like a rule.
courtesy.
Right. Have you tried not? Like,
sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. If I'm in the car, I like don't. Or if I'm like up by the building, I don't wave because I look at my phone and pretend I don't see
Plus,
them.
you just don't want to come off as rude and being like,
Right.
hey, and you're just like,
I was just concerned, like,
Unless you're me.
Like you didn't wave one time, and they're like,
you really need to
we're
wave.
really concerned about like your cohesiveness.
Bring her into like a conference
Are you
room.
kidding me?
I mean, I am the person that all the time at work, people are like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm working. Like, I'm working. You can't be up my butt all the time.
I'm just not smiling right
Yeah.
now.
It's
I'm
okay.
fine.
It's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, I have
Actually,
that
my face is
disease.
relaxed.
I was gonna say I have that disease bitch face. It's apparent.
Yeah.
You have RBF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely do.
Alright, so, yeah. That,
Wait, do any of you have that ever social
absolutely.
courtesy that you feel like you have to conform to?
No, not that. I thought you meant resting bitch face. It's like, yes, I do.
A similar thing that I hate is when people are driving down the street and they like honk at people they know, because I've been the person who's like on the street walking or something, and then somebody honks and you're just like, did I do something wrong? I'm suddenly startled. I'm in this like defensive position on high alert. Like I'm like a cat when something is dropped. You're just like,
I have been with Alex and we are in the downtown of a city and someone literally yells out the window like, "Redhead!" Why?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
And there's that's it. Doesn't know him.
No, they
Don't.
were warning everyone else around.
oh, right. It's like, hey, watch out.
Look out! There's a redhead.
You're my friend, Connor. You are my friend.
Well, yeah, you have my soul in a jar. I have to be your friend.
It's in my desk.
Oh, okay.
I keep it in the drawer. Yeah. All right.
But that's my peeve of the week
Okay.
is that every time and I'm like, I just saw you. Why do I have to?
Yeah, it is really annoying that you feel like you have to do these things because like you'll be ostracized for it. Like people will think of you as like a rude person for like these tiny little things that they shouldn't be doing.
Right. Do we want to mix it up and have Alex go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
What is that mixing it up?
It's not. That's
It's
not.
not.
Oh no,
Oh.
Jordan, I don't know.
Yeah.
Damn it,
Somebody.
I had an idea. And it
I was
failed.
gonna say if I started, obviously Alex.
I will go next
Damn
then. So I used to work at a place. I recently
Had a paradigm shift.
had a paradigm shift. Is
Whoop,
the
whoop.
best way of describing it. Yeah. But for like almost 2 years, it was almost 2 years I was working at this place where I would have to get. This isn't the only thing I did, but part of the duties was I would get people's phone numbers and enter them into the
Duties.
system. You are a
Wow.
child. I'm really proud.
This
now.
is a really big drink. What can I say?
Yeah. She's like almost done with it. So I had to take people's phone numbers, and part of what just really at every when you're working at that job that I had, which was a cashier, like the little things customers do just get under your skin, and especially when you're there for like a 6-hour shift, like towards the end of the day, you're just like, somebody dies today. Like nobody makes it out of this building. Like if things keep going wrong. And one of the things that always made me just lose my mind was when people would give their phone numbers, and they would give it like this. They'd be like, what's your phone number? Okay, it's 810. All right, 123 4567.
Now explain to the listeners what the problem is.
Yeah, so the
some
problem-
people are like, that's exactly how it is.
That's how I give it. You're wrong.
No, you're wrong in doing that, and here's why. Because when you are giving, you're setting a pattern with the 1, 2, 3, where you're giving single digits. But then in the second half of the or part of the number, you're grouping them together in twos, so making 45 instead of 4 or 5.
The pattern is bum 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 bum.
Yeah, exactly. And it's usually, I mean, it's annoying, but it's fine. It doesn't really impact the work. But when you get to the teens, that's when things start to be a problem. Because if you say your phone number is 123 18, I hit, because I have to type really fast because I don't want to ask you again. And if I hit 8, and then I have to go, and then hit the back button, and then hit 1, and then hit 8. And that just drives me livid. More than it should. I understand this is irrationally angry about this, but this is a
It's
problem.
a peeve. That's why it's a peeve.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why it's a peeve. So I just had to, get that out there. People, one number at a time. One number at a time, you guys.
I would just like to jump back on mine and say I love my coworkers, but
Yeah. It's
I
not
love my place of business. I love my coworkers, but like when I get in that parking lot, like just ignore me, please.
Yeah.
Whatever. Sorry.
All right. So,
Mine is also about work.
wow.
No
At
way.
my, At my
Really?
place of business, I have a position of like I'm a manager. I'm on a management track, and there is this employee who has been working there for 6 months now. Yes. Has been working there for 6 months, and this isn't a hard job that she has. It's like, okay, the first month I get it. Okay, you're figuring things out, but after that, like, boom.
Yeah.
You should not only should you know it, you should know how to help other people. You should be getting on top of things. So if you get done early, you're helping other people. Right. Just how it should be. Except since day one, she has come in and she's never had a job like this before.
Can I ask how old this person is?
21.
Okay. So our age. Well, a little bit younger.
Yeah.
She's come in with this attitude. Just this, like... If I'm trying to describe it, because it's not like a Valley Girl attitude, because it's not that, but it's this like... Oh, I know what I'm doing. How dare you?
I hate people like that.
Yeah.
How dare you assume I don't know? Oh, I'm sorry, you're doing that wrong. I'm going to assume you don't know what you're doing.
Right, because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
It came to a head though last week, and it was we were working alone on a task, and I asked her to do something, and she says, "No, I don't think so."
And you're her superior?
It was more than a week ago. I don't know why I said a week ago. It's been a little bit longer than that. It's that same incident I told you about, Jordan. I feel bad, but this had been like at the time like 5.5 months of attitude and the same thing over and over and over and over. And I finally snapped and I said, "Move your ass and do it."
Good for you.
Had there been someone higher than me there, I would have been fired.
Oh yeah.
100%. But so this is where my peeve comes in.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to say what I said, which wasn't inherently derogatory, but inappropriate, definitely inappropriate. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that I am at fault for being inappropriate at that moment. I was not being a good leader. If she were to say anything remotely like that or worse, I would get disciplined because she isn't doing her job.
Oh.
So no matter what happens, it's always going to be on me.
Yeah.
Because of how our workplace is set up.
Right.
That's not right.
I've always to piggyback on that.
Yeah,
I always had a problem with, and I've never really been in a position of authority, so I feel like I'm I'm not biased in saying this, but I always feel like the idea of like this group of people is your responsibility, so any actions of theirs are like you are at fault for them.
I totally understand that as far as like work things.
To piggyback on that, I have always been taught to never say no unless they are asking you something that is strictly illegal to what your job is.
Well, not just that, but inappropriate. What makes you completely uncomfortable? And when I mean uncomfortable, I don't mean like, oh, I don't want to do that thing. It's icky, or I don't want to do it.
Or it's too heavy.
Uncomfortable meaning like I don't feel comfortable doing this. This feels inappropriate, wrong, illegal. Or it's your job.
Like misconduct.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, other than that, no.
And those lines are drawn in the sand.
Like, I don't expect everyone who works with me or under me or whatever to be like, all right, let's do it. But, like, I don't even care if you give me, like, I really don't want to, but I'm going to do it. Like,
because then you can sympathize. Like, I don't want to do it either, but we'll get it done.
You know what? I get you.
Plus, then you get an idea of like what your employees want to do. So if there's one person who like really hates like a specific job,
right?
Then you can be like, maybe don't give it to them if somebody else doesn't mind it so much.
So going off of what you were saying, like it's like a supervisor's or manager's responsibility for people under them. I definitely agree to a point. If there is any shenanigans going on, like, and you're not like, and you know about it, or even if you don't know about it, you are accountable. If there are things not getting done, you are accountable, like repeatedly.
Right.
But if someone under you is being disrespectful to you, the supervisor, and being belligerent to you, and not doing their job to either spite you, and she really does it out of spite.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be the manager's or the supervisor's fault. It should be the employee's fault because they are deliberately acting out.
Right, exactly.
Do you have that authority to fire people?
I do not.
Can you ever suggest that someone be fired?
I can suggest. I did that once. And that is a story for another day.
Oh.
I will. I
Stay
promise,
tuned.
I will bring that
Episode
up. But
2.
that's not enough time for now.
I did have an event when I was a cashier where somebody came through, and this will be quick, I swear. Somebody came through and bought like a bunch of gift cards, and then they paid with a credit card, but it like was there was something shady about it, but I didn't know about it at the time. I was just like, well, it's not sliding through, so why don't I just type in the information? And then I like got talked to later. It's like, so that credit card was like a faulty card. He stole like almost $2,000 worth of gift cards from us, and I was like, oh, sorry, I had no idea, and they like just reprimanded me for that. But I found out later that like the supervisor who was there at the time got fired because of that situation. And they didn't tell me that they were firing that person. This was like secondhand later. So I don't know for sure if this is what happened, but yeah, I think what I heard was like that person got fired because like somebody scammed me, the company through me out of like $2,000, and like she got fired for that, which just that's not right. Like she didn't do anything that I didn't even bring her over to be like, hey, this is a weird situation, and she approved it.
Right.
She was just she was just the supervisor at the time, and that just was not.
No, that's not okay.
That's not okay. Yeah.
I feel if like I'm not in sales, or in necessarily customer service, but I don't think it would be that bad in my situation. I don't think.
Right.
We've never had a situation where it would be that bad.
Well, hopefully you never have to.
Right. Yeah. So.
Right. So Jordan, anything
peeving
you?
Much like the Green Day, I will not conform with you guys. I will not talk about work.
Great.
Because even though my job is fairly mediocre, I love where I work.
He wants to be the minority.
I thought for sure that I would be in the minority in this group, being the only girl, but I'm glad I'm not.
Yeah.
My pet peeve is musical movies.
Really?
What?
Let me.
We are going to talk about this. All right.
We're going to have a fight.
None of us are musical theater people at all.
At all.
We don't sing.
What do you mean?
So for the viewers at home, or listeners, sorry, you can't see me.
Viewers.
Or
can you?
Face for radio. Both I and Connor actually go to the same college as how we met. We both study acting. So, of course, I'm a big fan of theater and musical theater in general.
And just because Alex and I didn't go to school for that doesn't mean
that
we aren't.
Everyone here is a fan.
That is him.
Everyone here is very much a fan.
Yeah.
I teach at a high school. Thank you.
We've all, in the drama department.
Right.
Yeah. We've all been very involved with
Right.
theater stuff.
Anyway,
But I like musicals a lot, and I appreciate that they want to bring it to this medium that you can buy it, bring it home, and just see it whenever, because that's a good thing, because musicals are, A, really expensive to see live, and B, they travel, at least out here in Michigan,
Right.
you can't just go see a show. What I don't like is most, not all, but most film adaptations I've seen of musicals, when in fact some musicals, particularly the Phantom 25th Anniversary and Rent,
Yes.
for their
and
closing
Les Mis
performance,
and
Les
Right.
Mis, the
yeah.
And
the
other-
symphonic.
they
whatever
have
it's called.
filmed their actual show.
The live
And
stage version.
Right, and you can buy that. That is what a musical movie should be, not anything. Not to say that they were bad. I loved the musical movie Rent. I liked it a lot.
Have a
But,
fight. I mean, not we. You two will have a fight.
but just
Right.
because of what it is, they had to cut out so much stuff that it loses a lot of the stuff that made the show so great.
Right.
And so it was nice to see the final performance filming, because it was, I'm not going to say better or worse, but I personally had a preference towards it because it had.
Of course,
All the
we
other
have that
stuff.
eye for that. That's why.
Yeah. I think the best, one of my favorite like mediums is like filmed version of a stage show.
Right.
It is fantastic.
And so I'm just, my pet peeve is Broadway. What the fuck? You film everything for, because when you do a live show, you film it, archival purposes.
Right.
Why not sell that film? Like,
Yeah.
there's this huge problem with Broadway, and it's this running joke, I suppose, that you don't make money doing Broadway. I mean, actors do and all that, but producers and whatnot, you don't make money in Broadway. You can, like, start selling those films.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. Yeah, you'll probably have to pay the actors a little more, but
Sure. Worth it.
yeah, do it. It'd
There
be
are
fantastic.
there are so many people out there that don't even know one single Broadway actor's name because
Exactly. Unless they
and
like,
they're the people
are-
that brought that craft to life.
Yeah.
So that's what's really annoying.
Unless they make the transition to film like
Film.
Josh Gad, who played Olaf in Frozen,
or Idina Menzel.
or Idina Menzel, who was also in Frozen. They both got
And
their
Rent.
and Rent. Thank you. They both got their start in on Broadway on the stage. And
Well, and Leigh Mitchell, star of Glee, really, I mean, she's always been a big name actress, but I think in the broader societal sense, she got very popular from Glee.
right,
She was, I think, in the American original Broadway, she was one of the children in Les Mis. I forget which one. I'm not.
She was young Cosette.
I was gonna say Cosette.
Yeah. I mean, so many fantastic actors and actresses come from. I mean, Hugh Jackman.
yeah,
Oh my gosh,
One
we
of
were
the-
just talking about that the other day.
One of the biggest film actors right now, especially
Right.
with the Wolverine thing.
everyone knows his name. Yeah,
And he got his start in America, anyways. I think Oklahoma was his first American
Well,
production.
not just that.
It was
but,
out-
like, his
I think it was
training in Australia is in
I think
theater.
I
Yeah.
think
Right.
that was a UK production. I think for
Oh.
Oklahoma.
okay.
I mean, American show. I think they did it. I don't know. But that's what I
So,
think.
is that
Yeah, so my peeve is if I can just sell me the archival footage, I
That's
want
what we
it.
want anyway.
yeah,
Right.
yeah?
That is.
Can I ask
Oh,
what
that's such a good peeve.
what in your opinion are some of the better movie musicals that not better like better in terms of like quality, but what works for you the best?
I think the best things I've seen in movie musicals are just, for example, I think comedies transition better to film.
Yeah,
For example, Rocky Horror Picture Show was fantastic.
yeah, that's
Did
gotta be
that
number one.
start as a movie
It
or a theater
started
show?
as
It started
a
as
live show.
The Rocky
Really?
Horror
Rocky
Show.
Horror Show.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
And
And then they
became-
made the movie, and the movie became like a cult classic. I think the
Now,
changed
do you
the
think
show.
it became a cult classic because of Tim Curry and
Oh, yeah,
Susan
definitely.
Sarandon?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Everything's
everything-
better with Tim Curry.
That I
Well,
agree.
it was
I
banned
completely
originally.
agree.
It got terrible reviews and nobody saw it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so it's like
Just-
second home release.
Just like Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat completely bombed. Then Donny Osmond did it, and then it brought it back up.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ Superstar finally came to Broadway, and then they're like, okay, what else has Andrew Lloyd Webber been doing?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that sad?
But yeah, I think the best thing is comedies in general transition better. Shows that are not intended to have a large ensemble. Thank you. For example, that's my major dislike of the Rent movie. The actual show is so ensemble driven. So
Yeah.
many great moments of that. and they don't have it because
Like unity
just-
is one of the themes
Right.
of
Yeah.
the show.
you just can't do that in film as well. I
or at least
not
not the way they did it.
right.
You
Right.
know?
Have you seen Chicago?
I have seen. I liked what they did with that.
I
Right.
like Chicago.
I don't think it would transition to everything, but I love the idea of the cutaway numbers. That
Right,
was
right.
really good.
I would have
It's all
to say
style
like,
preferences.
yeah, I would have to say Chicago is one of the better film adaptations of a
Well, I
musical.
think it lends the show itself a little better.
It does,
because
yeah.
it is
It's
meant
not-
to be a vaudeville-esque,
Right.
like reminiscent style
Right.
show.
Right, and it's not as big as I think musicals are. I think
Yeah.
when you're on stage, you can kind of do a thing, and it's bigger than if you were to be in like somebody's bedroom and have.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like, you
so-
act for the frame as opposed to like this auditorium.
Right. So that's an
yeah, I would
issue.
say in general, to make a good movie musical, you have to pick a musical that transitions into film well. And they're not written for that. I mean, some of them do,
No,
especially with
that is
contemporary,
what so many people, so many directors don't understand. Like,
it's meant to be live for
It's
a
the-
reason.
yeah.
We have a professor, and I'm sure you guys have you've probably heard this before too, is the reason musicals exist, like on not just like a narrative level or a business level, but like on an emotional level, is because we sing when we can no longer express the emotion.
that's correct.
or the feeling or the passion or our connection with other people with words. And of course the other side of that is you dance when you can no longer sing it.
Yeah.
Right.
When the towers fell on 9/11, the first thing that people did was sing, and completely contribute
So
to
like
that.
and so thinking about that idea that your emotions can't be contained with words, you have to sing. Why are you then trying to contain that to a frame?
Right, exactly.
I think it does a disservice to the work and the audience's overall impact that they would have. I think they're being robbed of an experience.
Absolutely.
Personally.
Well,
So
we-
basically, go to the theater. Gosh darn it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we are robbing the experience of literally anything else you could be doing, so we are going to let you go, audience. This has been Peeves and Cues. I'm Alex.
Connor.
Jordan!
And Jody.
And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I have a Twitter. I'm at Mr. spelled out the long way, Red2342. That's Mr. Red 2342. Does anyone else have a Twitter they want to plug, or anything they want to plug?
Well, fuck Twitter, but if you want to find out works that I do, I'm on Clever Girl FX Studios on Facebook.
Yeah, Clever Girl FX, the letters.
And don't look forward soon, but look forward in the upcoming, if this is a couple months from now, Critical Fail Productions on YouTube. It's going to be a thing. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
It might take a couple months. So it is May.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's May
May the
2016.
Just
So
kidding.
give me a couple months and then start looking because it's going to be pretty great.
Great. Connor, anything you want to plug?
I love you all.
And we are out. Thank you all for listening.
This is terrible. Shut it down.
This is terrible. Shut it down.